Yeah, so because of international practice and all that, Malaysian construction industry, start to become very, very aware of the this process of adjudication, you see. So what happened is they recognize that need for a more efficient and effective mechanism to resolve dispute and avoid project delays. So because like I've mentioned before, in in the traditional dispute resolution format, everything inside has to be stopped, you see. So that sort of like stop the progress, everything stops, and then until your dispute is being resolved, you see. But for adjudication, it doesn't do that. See, so um at the moment, before the statutory requirement, before it's becoming statutory with SIPA, it is very rare to use adjudication. People are starting to get aware of it, they know about it, but they don't have a way to use it, because only in PAM form we call for adjudication, meaning that people who are using PWD form, JKR form, they cannot auto go and use adjudication. Okay, so it's only people using PAM form are allowed to use adjudication for dispute resolution. All right. So when the Malaysian government recognize the importance of it, and start to support the growth and usage of this this adjudication. So in 2012, the Malaysia introduced the Construction Industry Payment and Adjudication Act 2012, and this is modeled through the UK ones. And then once he received the royal assent, meaning that it's signed by the Argon on June 2012, and it comes into enforcement on in 22nd of June 2012. Well, from that moment onwards, Malaysia has statutory adjudication regimen for all construction contract now. Okay, we have it now. So based on this underpinning act, okay, any party based on this act as the underpinning, as the foundation, any party in any construction contract now are entitled to resolve dispute using adjudication. So that is the beauty of having SIPA. Okay, so don't be constrained with framework. I can't use SIPA because my contract doesn't allow SIPA. Don't believe in that, because SIPA is also mainly is statutory. Subset adjudication in contractually. Contractually is smaller. Statutory is a bigger thing. The foundation is bigger by using SIPA. All right, so because of that, okay, there is a lot more acceptance to SIPA. There's a lot more acceptance and adoption of SIPA now. Okay, and there's in the Malaysian construction industry, people like the contractors, developers, subcon consultants started to recognize the benefit of SIPA, and then because it can resolve dispute very quickly, it can maintain the cash flow of the project. Things are still ongoing, so it minimizes project disruption. So there was many workshop and all that is done, to build up the SIPA and to use SIPA and all that. As using SIPA, not using SIPA, using adjudication based on SIPA Act. Okay, so there's also over time our courts start to contribute to adjudication jurisprudence, meaning there's a lot of case law started to appear, and then will interpret through case law on the application of SIPA. So then a lot of these court decisions actually support the SIPA process, and it helped them to establish precedents, help SIPA to establish case law. So then when it goes to court, the decision of the judges will look at decision from the adjudicators as well, consider that before they make any judgment as well. So it is a very significant piece of legislation in Malaysia at the moment. It is a wonderful thing, and therefore we want everybody. That's why I have special attention to and SIPA. Okay, and section 5.2, we also explain the advantages and disadvantages of SIPA. So because at adjudication stage, this is considered as rough justice, meaning that when you when the adjudicator gives you this sort of justice, okay, give you this sort of rulings, decision, yeah, it is rough, it is not like something that you have to go in detail like court and arbitration. It is considered as rough, but it is faster, it is more efficient in a way. So parties are more willing to accept that, see? And it's going to get things solved very quickly. So it's rough justice, agak lah, but then at least there is some solution, and most parties are willing to accept that, you see. Sometimes when you go too much into a lot of smaller details, it can get very, very tedious and people are not willing to accept it, you see. So because it's so tedious that you read so many things, you have to understand so many things, so people tend to be a bit reluctant to accept, So this one is considered as a rough justice, okay? So then it is also a statutory adjudication. It's mandatory. It's through statutory process, meaning you don't have to think about what is written in your contract. You straight away can go there, and use it. And statutory adjudication remove this back-to-back business and pay when paid if paid, you see. So which is really, really good. A lot of clients, they like to play this game. I don't get paid, you don't get paid, So it removes all that. So that really reduces a lot of payment default. And there's a lot of payment recovery process to adjudication, and then while not suspending the work, from not suspending the work on site, and then it doesn't have to reduce the rate of work progress. So that is another thing that is really wonderful, because a lot of dispute, after you resolve the dispute, there's new things coming out, because if you dispute, a lot of delays are there, and when there's a lot of delays, there's going to be other things coming out that people will argue about. You should give me EOT or not give me EOT, and then I'll penalize you for LAD. So the traditional way of stopping everything and to resolve the dispute can actually take a lot longer than the process of resolving the dispute itself, you see. Because the after effect, the whiplash, the hurricane punya after effect is a lot stronger. Okay, but of course, because the adjudicator is a very technical person, so the way that they resolve dispute will be very, very technical rather than judicial. Okay, rather than judicial. Judicial means that rather than legal fine points, rather than looking at all the legality, they will really more technical way of resolving dispute, more technical, then we look at technical method, technical things a lot more, practical things, on-site things, dealing with the drawings, dealing with specifications, like technical stuff. Okay, we solve problem practically rather than looking at the wordings, the mistake, the misrepresentations, the sort of things, voiding the contract, got contract, no contract. Now, lawyers like to do that. They like to read every word and interpret those words. And actually, a lot of those interpretation cannot be practiced technically in a way. So those decisions is made is actually technical. But of course, some people can say that if it's a very legal problem, then the adjudicators may not have the knowledge of legal, may not have the knowledge of law, training in law to resolve it. So that is the trade-off in that sense. So of course, adjudicators always require to provide decision in a very short time. So it means the adjudicator may not, conduct very in-depth and very rigorous analysis. Okay, so that could be another bad point. So if the decision is not accepted by the parties, they can apply to high court. Okay, and a mistake decision has to be honored and pending arbitration or court decision. So meaning that once the adjudication is made, you have to honor it, even though you say you're complaining to the high court or going to arbitration. At the moment before the decision of arbitration and court, you are still required to follow the decision of the of the adjudicators. Decision is not final. It can be reopened, arbitration, litigation, which then will get very expensive because you are doing double process. It's just that you cannot give birth, through natural. Then you try, it's supposed to be 2,000, and then when you go for operation, they're still charging you 2,000 plus the operating fee. Same concept, okay? Right. So